Talk Radio.
So the nation is celebrating the 95th birthday of the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, today. Her Majesty's 90th birthday over the weekend, and of course the Queen's birthday honours list to be announced tomorrow, Saturday the 11th of June. We're joined now by awards expert Mark Llewellyn-Slade. Good morning, Mark.
Morning, Paul.
Now let's start, if we may, with the overall question of honours. I was saying earlier, and a lot of people agree with me, that actually maybe this should be the last time we have the honours list. Could you sum up what you think is the purpose they serve? Why are they good, do you think, for the UK?
Well, they motivate people to help other people, to get involved in the economy and the community, and it's a way of the Queen thanking them and motivating them to go on to even bigger and better things. And a lot of people who get, say, an MBE or an OBE go on to get a higher honour, such as a CBE or a knighthood, maybe 5 or 10 years later, because getting that initial gong spurred them on to even greater things. So I suspect that the majority of your vote scrap it campaign this morning are just jealous cynics who secretly want to get a gong themselves and simply haven't put in the hard work to get one.
Except that what about the people like, we've all heard of them, the Sir Humphreys of this world? They are paid rather well as civil servants. Yes, they're doing a job that helps the country, but they're paid well. They get a gold-plated final salary pension. Oh, and by the way, take a knighthood with you, Sir Bufton Tufton.
Well, firstly, at the end of the day, I can sympathise with people getting naffed off with celebrities getting a gong. They always add a delicious dollop of spice and controversy to the honours list, but it's primarily about highlighting and rewarding so-called ordinary people rather than famous actors and pop stars and civil servants. It's more about Bert from Bristol and Mavis from Macclesfield rather than, you know, your global celebrities.
I must say, I did mention when I was living down in West Sussex back in the 90s, there was a local road sweeper who got given, I think, an OBE because he'd done the same round for decades and he would turn up on his day off and keep the streets clean. So that kind of thing, I think you're right. Some people do deserve a pat on the back. The unrecognised do. Yeah,
it's about rewarding those people, but you don't get a gong simply for doing your job. Otherwise, every policeman and nurse and firefighter in the country.
What, you mean like Sir Bernard Hogan-Howe, Sir Mark Stevens, all those people who somehow have got a knighthood as well as being top coppers?
Well, at the end of the day, somebody has decided that they've gone above and beyond their job.
Sir Ian Blair, all those coppers always seem to get a knighthood out of the Met,
It's a subjective issue,
yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's about highlighting and rewarding the great community and charity workers, along with eminent surgeons, academics, business leaders and entrepreneurs. I know everybody likes to knock business leaders and entrepreneurs, but they do support the economy, they employ people, they create wealth, and they fill the tax coffers of government as well, which we all benefit from.
Now, of course, there are many controversial figures that we've heard about over the years. I didn't realise until today there's an honours forfeiture committee, and some people, of course, in the past have called for various people, including on the front of the Mail today, Sir Philip Green, to have their knighthood removed. Now, we don't want to talk specifically about that case, but are there people you think that maybe should lose whatever honours they've got? I'm thinking, for example, of, Rolf Harris, for example, or Lord Archer, jailed for perjury, but can still sit in the House of Lords.
Yeah, the last major figure to lose his honour was Rolf Harris. He lost his CBE after conviction for indecent assault, of course. And then there was Lester Piggott, who was stripped back in 87, I think it was, of his OBE for tax fraud. And more recently, there's the guy from Royal Bank of Scotland, Fred Goodwin, who lost his knighthood for nearly bringing the bank to near collapse. And,
which maybe indicates we don't need honours in the first place if we're giving to people and taking them away again.
Well, 3,000 odd honours are given out each year, and how many are taken away? I think you could count on two hands the number that have been taken away. And a lot of those are what are called honorary honours. They're given to people who are not British citizens, so nasty dictators like Robert Mugabe and Benito Mussolini, of course, lost his gong. So,
who would have thought it was a good idea to give Mussolini, or more recently, Robert Mugabe, an honour in the first place?
Well, there you go. They must have, on the face of it, done something worthy at the time, and then turned bad. They're the apples that went rotten in the basket, I think.
Okay, let's turn, if we may, now to some people you think might be due an upgrade this time around. Who might be in the running this time around, do we think?
Well, I'd like to see Stephen Fry get a gong. He hasn't got anything at all. think it's fair to say that he's made a brilliant contribution to broadcasting, as you have, Paul, of course, over the last 32 years.
I've got two hopes there, no hope and Bob Hope. Let's say, how does it work out who gets what? Because I've heard, for example, that some people say, well, I'd be quite happy to accept a K, for example. I'd rather not have something lower than that. Is there any kind of process of negotiation?
No, there isn't. And when you nominate someone for an honour, you're not asked at what level you think your friend or family member should get a gong. And I think one of the reasons for that is that it's seen as bad form to be telling the Queen what level of honour she should bestow upon someone. But also, I don't think the Cabinet Office bother to ask, because everyone tends to stick, knighthood down in the hope that they might get an MBE at the end of the day. But the key in deciding the level of honour is the geographical spread of someone's influence. So if you've got somebody operating at a village level, for example, scout leader, WI person, very local staff, they're likely to be down at the BEM or MBE level, whereas someone seen nationally or internationally as a leader in their field, like an eminent surgeon or academic, he might be up at the CBE or knighthood level.
Or indeed, a leading dictator. Thank you very much indeed, Mark Llewellyn-Slade there, talking to us live from his home in Hayward Heath.